season, the Missoula Osprey are introducing an Adopt an Osprey program. They are looking for families interested in providing Osprey team players with a comfortable and affordable home away from home. Their goal is to develop relationships with local families and the Osprey players that will enrich the lives and experiences of both the players.
City's technical training, customer satisfaction, blah, blah, blah.
What kind of questions?
They wanted to know how Garden City manages to leave the house so clean.
Oh, I know that. Huh? They wear these little booties and they put out mats. Sorry. So what else did they ask?
There's something about a warranty or something.
Oh, well, they do have the best warranty in town.
Garden City Plumbing and Heating, 728-5550.
Each year in Montana, more than 100 people are killed in crashes involving an impaired driver. And over 350 are seriously injured. That's 450 reasons to drive sober. What's your reason for planning a sober ride? Drive sober or get pulled over. A message from the Montana Department of Transportation.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. It's 4 o'clock. Welcome to Montana's only statewide sports talk show. Broadcast on 102.9 ESPN Radio for Western Montana and across the state on SWX Television.
I like football!
Now, the 2017 Radio Sports Broadcaster of the Year on the show with back-to-back Montana Broadcaster Association awards for sports coverage and award-winning sports journalism. Here is Ryan Tootell and Coulter Nuanez.
Hello, Montana. What if I told you that the series-ending 50-burger, 37-point bomb Damian Lillard Portland Trailblazers game was the second-best game of the night last night? It is Tootell and Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio and SWX Montana Television. Outstanding to be with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Hope you are having a wonderful day. Thanks for spending some of it with us wherever you are and however you are listening. We appreciate you. Thanks for being here. We are broadcasting live from the Kurtz Polaris studios. Kurtz Polaris at 2904 West Broadway in Missoula, Highway 83 in Sealy. Check them out online at kurtzpolaris.com. You can also check us out online, 1029ESPN.com. There you can listen to the stream. You don't want to get around your TV. You don't want to get around your radio, or maybe it's just easier. Well, maybe you're in, Azerbaijan, one of those, kind of an Eastern bloc fading into Asia kinds of places. You go ahead and you get us on the stream. The stream available thanks to Opportunity Bank, your local bank, your opportunity. You can also call us, 329-1899, the phone number. We love having calls around here, 329-1899. All guests join us via the Rangich Brothers RV phone line. Quite a lot to get to. In fact, too much to get to today. We are going to open up with the most notable game of the night last night, which was the Portland Trailblazers and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Damian Lillard crossing a threshold into a new realm of stuff and a new level of appreciation, at least for me, in terms of the type and the level of player that he is. So we will get to that. We also, I am insistent here in this one that we talk about the Sharks Golden Knights game last night, which was, if you have not watched it, if you did not know about it, you just you can't believe what took place in this game. So we will get to that. It is a Wednesday. We will have some Wing It Wednesday trivia questions for you, get you some wings to the Desperado Sports Tavern. We may do some prep stuff. We may do some NFL stuff. In the top of the hour, we will definitely do some lacrosse stuff because we're going full Tootell, Nuanez, and Tucker in this thing. Tucker Sargent coming back in here, going to talk to us the PNCLL Division I and Division II League Championships for automatic burst tickets punched to the National Championships of Club Lacrosse happening in Missoula, Montana this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Washington Grizzlies Stadium. And so it's a huge event. Tons of kids coming into play, tons of families coming. I think they've booked out something like 400 hotel rooms because there's I think there's a total of 6 teams from each division coming. You talk about 20, 25 kids per team. You could do the math on that, but it's a huge, huge event, and it's great that Missoula gets to host that, that the University of Montana is hosting that, and Tucker, obviously the head coach of the Montana men's lacrosse team, so he's going to be in here talking to us about all that stuff and plenty of other stuff as well. So there you go. That's our show Outlook. It's brought to us by Lithia Ford of Missoula. Before we go one step further, Tommy, am I allowed to touch the bottom computer? It's got the black screen on it. Can I do that? Can I move around the internet here, or am I barred from this? I'm going to use it. I'm going to accept the silence as a go-ahead. That's what I'm going to do. Coulter?
So if we go off the show in the next 60 seconds or less, you'll know why.
You'll know why. That's exactly right. Coulter, last night, we watched the Thunder Portland Trailblazer game. Portland down 15 2 different times in the fourth quarter. The last time, the latest time, with under 7 minutes remaining in the game. And it looked like the OKC Thunder were going to, in what had been a back-and-forth game, finally pulled away. I mean, that was the biggest lead of the game, was that 15-point lead that the Thunder had over halfway, well, about halfway through, not quite halfway through, the fourth quarter. And then the Blazers just start kind of chipping away at it. And it was absolutely sensational the way Paul George played last night. I think he missed 5 shots and had 36. Once again, the confusion that reigns for me about Russell Westbrook, reared its head. You have a guy who is playing his absolute great, unbelievable performance in Paul George, and Russell Westbrook he's taking too many shots, and the guy who is just absolutely automatic, cannot miss last night, isn't getting the looks he needed, even though he did score 36 points. But you know what? Today, none of that matters. None of that matters today, because what matters today is Damian Lillard. Big Sky, what's up? He goes for 50, and the most emphatic, distant three-point shot that I have ever seen. I have never, ever, ever seen that one. Seen guys shoot it from there because the clock's winding down. Of course, the clock was winding down, which he let it. He stood there for 10 seconds, took one step to the right from 37 feet, and buried the Oklahoma City Thunder, waved bye-bye, and got mobbed by his teammates in just the most ruthless, straight killer, straight awesome moment that I can recall in a long time. And by the way, he shot the Houston Rockets right out of the playoffs, sent them on their way, I think, 3 or 4 years ago.
The last time they won a
series, he did that. But it wasn't like this. And what he did last night to score, I think, 34 in the first half, and then score the last 5 points, the tying layup, which was no easy. I mean, he just goes straight to the rack and gets it to go. And then to come back and make that 3 in a 50-point performance. Coulter, this moves Damian Lillard up, to me, to a place that he has not been before, at least in terms of and I think the national perception of this guy from this series and that shot.
Absolutely. I think that I there's moments that occur in pro sports that are unforgettable and that completely shift the narrative and just the perception of the identity of the league. And I think what we saw last night, we're going to get into the Russell Westbrook thing in a little bit, but I think you would agree with me that the NBA is the sport that evolves the most prevalently, the most quickly. Russell Westbrook's only 30. For a moment in time, Russell Westbrook was the guy, was the guy you wanted to have in terms of style, not only just his ability, his athleticism, his motor, all that stuff. He was the guy that you wanted to have. You would have taken him over every point guard in the league for a brief window. And now he's 4th, 5th, 6th as far as guys you would take. And it's because not necessarily that Russell Westbrook's got it any worse. Russell Westbrook has the same strengths and the same weaknesses as he's always had. The game has out-evolved him. who's the guy, who is the number one player in the NBA that the evolution of the current NBA is helping more than any other player? Damian Lillard. He's leading the evolution.
Well, Steph is there too.
Steph too, for sure. But Lillard even more because Steph plays off the ball so much. Lillard plays on the ball so prevalently. He's the perfect scoring point guard for the modern NBA. Perfect. I mean, he as far as if you want a true scoring point guard, he is the number one guy in the league right now. And I think, but what last night, Damian Lillard has been climbing in his reputation within the NBA. I said the other day on the show that I think he's a top 7 guy. After last night, he's top 5. He's a top 5 guy in the NBA.
Hard to argue.
But the other thing is, though, it's not just his reputation within the league. That's another thing I find fascinating was when a guy goes off like he did last night. Sometimes social media is an echo chamber, but NBA Twitter is great almost across the board for a variety of reasons. It's why the NBA has become so. I mean, the NBA has always been huge, but it's why the NBA is the only sport that can even be in the conversation with the NFL because of all the way that they use their videos, their highlights, all that stuff. But the respect from players around the league, guys that weren't playing in games last night, whether their team's not in the playoffs or they just had a night off. I mean, people are going crazy about Damian Lillard more than any player I can think of when he scores 50. Harden scored 50 a bunch this year. He has a certain amount of reverence among his peers, but not like what we saw last night, the feedback from the basketball community. And Lillard not only has ascended in his hierarchy of respect within the league, but he's been a bona fide star for the last couple of years. He's a superstar now. He's a superstar. And I was thinking about this. The concept of being cool, what makes somebody cool?
They keep asking me.
It's so hard to define. But you're a very cool person. For real, though. You're very cool. No, for real, though. You're a cool guy. And a lot of it is just natural. I mean, it just is what you – I mean, a lot of it has to do with about your parents and whatever. But what I'm saying is if you were to rip off the top 12 or 14 guys in the league talent-wise and the guys that are all in that conversation as a superstar, Damian Lillard is the coolest one of all those guys. I mean, Kyrie Irving has such an element of marketability because of his pleasant nature. He's got the Uncle Drew thing. But he also makes these crazy comments, and you're like, what? Is he kidding or is he not kidding? I don't know. Yeah. LeBron is the king of the world, but he's also very polarizing. As many people hate LeBron as they do love him. Mm-hmm. On down the line. I mean, all the guys that are bona fide superstars right now, they're so mercurial. They're so up and down emotionally. Mm-hmm. Not Dame. And I thought the moment last night when, like, he waves by, the fans mob him, and then he takes the mean mug picture with the city of Portland hanging on his back, and he just gives it to the camera. It's just classic. It was classic. I mean, it was a Star is Born is what we saw last night. It really was.
And a lot of that is in no small part because he platform at home. You know, if this would have happened in OKC, it doesn't go over, obviously, in the same way. But here's the other thing to me, Golter. You and I both picked Oklahoma City to win this series because of the recent history. I mean, remember now, Portland's lost 10 in a row in the postseason coming into this series, okay? They have Russell Westbrook and Paul George. And you thought, okay, you want to talk about, Nurkic being out and is Damian Lillard ready to ascend to that level? Has he attained to this, level of both ability and sort of being able to obtain the moment? You and I both picked Oklahoma City to win this series. You also asked me right now, who would you rather have, Russell Westbrook or Damian Lillard? And like a dope, I said Russell Westbrook. Now, I hate being a prisoner to the moment, recency bias, all that kind of thing. And it's like, okay, well, we just watched this game last night, which was just as amazing a performance as you could imagine in the postseason. And even just 5 games out of 82, and then out of years leading up to this is a relative drop in the bucket. But these are playoff games, and these were head to head. And if you are going to ask me today, I will say, no, this isn't recency bias. This isn't being a prisoner of the moment. This is me having been completely wrong about the stratification of these two guys. Damian Lillard isn't above. He went streaking past Russell Westbrook in an emphatic fashion in the last 5 games in this. And by the way, you know who else has passed Russell Westbrook? Paul George. And you've been arguing for this also. But Russell Westbrook has flaws, has such greatness to his game that the flaws are there, and they hurt his team, man. They just do. And I don't know if there's another way for him to go about it. I don't know the answer to that. What I do know is Damian Lillard is way out in front of Russell Westbrook now in terms of the hierarchy, and I feel very comfortable using a 5-game sample as not so much as the basis, but as the example, the where you point to, not to say this is what moved him past. Maybe it is in terms of perception, but to prove that he has passed Russell Westbrook. This wasn't him. He went past him in terms of what we all saw nationally, but he's been past him for a while. We just didn't know it, and this showed that to me.
No doubt. And in sports, we always talk about when narratives become so heavy that then they become self-fulfilling prophecies. And what we saw last night was not only the stamping of stardom for Damian Lillard, I mean superstardom, but also it was absolutely affirming and crucial moment in the careers of Damian Lillard and Terry Stotts, because Lillard shot him past the Rockets several years ago. They didn't win a single playoff game for the last 2 years. They're winning 53, 55 games. They're getting the 3 seed 2 years in a row, getting swept by the 6 2 years in a row. So then to come do this against a team that, I mean, 10 weeks ago, the Thunder, I think you would have said, were maybe the number 2 or 3 threat in the entire NBA to beat the Warriors.
Right.
And within 10 weeks, that's a whole different story. But within 10 weeks, they're just completely eroded. But it's not an inconsequential win. This isn't just the 3 seed winning in 5 games over the 6 seed. They beat one of the premier teams in the NBA handily.
Statement. Tootell, Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television. Couple of more things that I want to ask you about this game. First of all, the other thing that was priceless was about 12, 15 seconds after the shot goes down in the mob scene, they cut to Terry Stotts, and his look of bemusement and happiness and the absolute, like, you know, a coach, there's just times, and maybe more, maybe there's a lot of times where it's just got nothing to do with you. His look was, I played no part in this. This is one guy doing his thing, and he's sitting there as much a fan as the rest of us watching Dame do this thing. So I thought that was a great moment. The other thing, though, that I want to ask you about, Damian Lillard set a postseason record for the Portland Trail Blazers by making 10 threes last night. He was going, he was feeling it, he was doing everything that he wanted to do. The fact that the thing went in brings me such joy I can't even tell you, because to watch a guy pull from an unconscionable distance was thrilling. But I was also sitting there, and to a certain extent, I still find myself going, what are you doing? Like, there's 16 seconds when they get the rebound. He crosses half court, and there's 12, and then he just stands there pounding it. Now, far be it from me to sit here and say to the guy who just poured in 50 points and hit the game winner from Lake Oswego that was not the way to go. And I understand the distances that we're now dealing with the shooters in the NBA move everything out. The things that were bad shots 4 years ago are not bad shots today. They are routine. But 37 feet is a new place on the map to me, and I'm wondering if this situation comes up again, are you comfortable with Damian Lillard or Steph Curry from that spot, just letting it ride instead of trying to work into something?
I mean, the balance that Damian Lillard shoots with and the consistency of his wrist flick.
He's one of the great shooters in the NBA in the greatest moment of shooting in NBA history.
And Lillard's in a point right now that he's not even looking at that thing. He's just shooting it. He's not. I mean, there was a couple where he just comes down. He's in transition.
Yep.
And he just stop on a dime and just whap. I mean, he's running the other way before it even hits the net because he knows it's good. I mean,
you can't very well say much about it at this point. And again, nobody's a bigger fan of what took place than I am, but I just don't know.
He hit no less than 10 shots from 10 feet or more beyond the three-point line in this series.
Well,
he's just out of his mind how hot he was. But, I mean, you don't want to make too much out of a first-round playoff series, and a year from now, we will have a very vague memory of this game. Maybe not, though. And that's what I'm saying. This was an all-timer. I guess that's what I'm saying is most playoff games, they come and they go. You can become a prisoner of the moment, but, like, you know, what games do you remember specifically from the NBA playoffs last year? You remember Game 7 between the Rockets and the Warriors when the Rockets missed 29 threes in a row or whatever.
I remember the Game 1 that the Cavs should have won and didn't. I remember the Game 4 that they just completely imploded and gave up on, and it was the worst finals.
But that's about it, right? Like, you don't remember any specifics from the Pelicans,
you didn't even
Blazers.
Tell me a second round matchup.
And that's why I think last night was way more of a paramount moment because it was epically memorable, and I mean, truly, man. To hit a three to get the 50 burger and to walk off. I mean, you walked off. You closed not just the game but the series in Portland.
Yep.
And I also think the moment was made even a little bit more special by the fact that they did lose Game 3. If that would have happened last night in Oklahoma City, it wouldn't have been as cool.
No,
the fact that it happened in Portland, it was almost like a blessing in disguise that they dropped that one game.
And again, not even simply a home game, but a home game for Portland because they have been a fledgling franchise by NBA standards, you know, in terms of success.
Second longest playoff streak in the history of the NBA.
Going back, but I mean, recently, right? I mean,
late 70s through the late 90s, they were the most consistently middle of the West team in basketball.
Totally.
They were good for the 5 seed for 25 years, and then the Jailblazers, and then the epic injuries, Greg Oden, Brandon Roy. I mean, that's bad.
It's
bad juju, and now they're coming back.
That sounds worse than what I intended to mean. They've been a good franchise, but they haven't risen to the top of the NBA. They get there, they're the bridesmaid, never the bride. It seems like in the playoffs very often. And last night and in this series, they were the hammer and OKC was the nail. Coulter, I simply have to talk about this one, okay? And I know that not everybody out there is locked into the NHL playoffs. Some folks are. That's okay. But you have to trust me on this when I tell you that the game last night between the Blazers and the Oklahoma City Thunder was the second best game of the night last night, which was by far the best night of playoffs that we've had in a very long time. I can't think of a better night in terms of the things that happened. But the Vegas Golden Knights went to San Jose to play the Sharks. Two teams, by the way, that I just don't – I know that, you know, the Golden Knights were kind of the darlings last year with this expansion franchise, and they got this big following and all that, so I get all that. But I don't personally have I don't care about these teams per se at all. But it was a Game 7. It was a series in which San Jose was down 3-1. They come all the way back to force a Game 7 at home. They're the number 2 seed in the West. And Vegas is they're the 7 seed, even though it's not split up exactly that way numerically. Coulter, the Golden Knights score a goal, I think 2 goals in the unreleasable. It means you can score as many goals as you want to score, as many goals as you're able to, and it doesn't end the power play. Normally in a 2-minute power play, it's just over as soon as a goal goes in. San Jose scores, 6 seconds into the 5-minute power play. They score again 40 seconds later. They haven't scored in 50 minutes of hockey. They score 2 goals in under 60 seconds. In the remaining 4 minutes of the power play, they score 2 more goals and go up 4-3 in 4 minutes after their guy goes down, is unconscious, and in a very scary moment goes off the ice. The place goes absolutely ballistic, as you can imagine. And now with 6 minutes left in the game, a team that was done, is up by 1. And what happens with 47 seconds to go? The Knights score. Turning the tables yet again, it goes to overtime, and the Sharks unbelievably come back from 3-1 and down 3-0 in the game to win the game in overtime at home, 2 minutes left, under 2 minutes to go in the first overtime, and move on to the second round. I have never, ever, I can't overemphasize this. There was no chance, 0 chance, that the Sharks were going to win, maybe even score a goal. And then one penalty happens, and they scored 4 goals in 4 minutes and just stole. And if you're Vegas, it's the most discouraging and shockingly horrifying loss that I've ever seen in hockey. And Patrick Sharp, who's played 15 years in the NHL, who is a commentator now for NBC and is an all-star, a Stanley Cup winning skill player for the Blackhawks, amongst others, said that it was singularly the greatest period of hockey that he's ever seen in his life. And so I just needed to get that one out there, because something like that, it doesn't come around every so often. It never comes around. It has never come around like that before, and it was amazing. And anybody who enjoys hockey, even at a cursory level, even people that don't enjoy hockey, if you were watching this, there was nothing else for you last night. You were putting off, all of the lasagna was burning in the oven. Okay, you were not. That's it. It was all. So anyway, amazing stuff, and a great night all the way around for the playoffs. I must say, this was a good night for my family to be in the Philippines. Okay, because I got all of the things done last night.
So my question is, how late did you stay up last night? Did you watch the whole Blazers game and the whole?
I watched
So I was watching the Blazers game with you until I went into anaphylactic shock and had to leave.
First, we should tell the people, Tucker Sargent's birthday was yesterday, so we went to dinner.
He's 22.
Last night, enjoyed it very much. So got a late start on the games on the recorder. I watched every second of the Blazers game last night. That took me up until about 1 a.m., and I had to cash it in. I got the Sharks game in today. And by the way,
I was going to say, that's amazing. If you didn't go home from the establishment until after midnight, and you watched 2 full games, and you're still upright?
No. Here's the thing, though. I did not know what happened. This is why I was so upset last night, because I heard and glanced, and it was unmissable. It's fine.
I mean, at some point, you got to realize, man, the Hulu DVR world is only applicable for everything but live sports.
No, but I mean, here's the thing: is that the Sharks game, I did not know what happened.
That's good.
And I'm sitting in my chair screaming at my television on my lunch break today. It's great.
I didn't know that rule about the major penalty, how the power play doesn't end. That's an interesting one.
Significant.
That's pretty impressive. They will take advantage of that. You yelling at your TV, I think that's like the best way I could describe that Blazers game. Is
yes.
There's very few. I mean, the NBA, these guys are so amazing now that sometimes we become numb to it. But as far as like the games where the guy is hitting shots and you're hitting your buddy and howling, laughing, pounding on the table, screaming at the TV, that's what Damian Lillard did yesterday.
Yes, it is.
And, I mean, my brother called me just breathless.
Yes.
He said, I don't care what you're talking about.
That's how I knew what had happened.
He's
because
like,
you're like, all I heard you go was, Brooks, wait, right now? That's what I heard you say, and I was like, oh, well, now I know. Yep. Now I know what's going on.
Yep. Amazing performance. And that hockey game, amazing, too. The NHL playoffs have been great so far.
Great. I think there's one more Game 7 tonight. Washington and Carolina, the Caps, the defending Stanley Cup champions, trying to stave off the Carolina Hurricanes, who have pushed this thing to a 7th game. So back in D.C., and I'll look forward to watching this one. This one I intend to watch in something like real time as soon as I get off work here back at the Casa. So I'll be into it. But, yeah, it was just like 3 or 4 7-game because the Bruins won a Game 7 against Toronto last night as well, so they move on.
Happy birthday, Tucker Sargent.
Yeah, no kidding.
He gets a Bruins win.
Gets a little Northeast love. No doubt about it.
That was actually a pretty good question he asked. His hypothetical was, who has a better chance of winning a championship, the Bruins or the Celtics?
Bruins.
We will ask him that exact question at the top of the hour.
Last thing about going back to this basketball game before we get a little Wing It Wednesday going. The thing to me that was so amazing about that shot is the layers that there were to it. At a strictly numeric number, he made the 3 to win the game that gave him a 50-point night. And there's something about a 50 burger that just isn't there if it was a 49 burger or a 47, like 50, right? He did it on a night in which, and I have been talking about how great C.J. McCollum is, and he has been great. But last night was not his best performance. 17 points, 8 of 19 shooting, okay, but only 1 of 7 from beyond the arc. So it was all and only Damian Lillard doing it last night. It was all the things that we talked about also in an instant, the sweeping, not the sweep in a 4-game sense, but the sweeping away of the Oklahoma City Thunder and the really exposing to me of Russell Westbrook in a way that he has not been exposed before. And the absolute joy of a city that, is only about its basketball team, has only the basketball team to be about as far as it goes. And then the ascent, as you put it, from stardom to superstardom of one Damian Lillard. All of that happened in 1.4 seconds from the time that he let that. Now, it had to be built up to that point, but when he lets that thing go from that spot and hits that shot, all of that happened in a moment, and that's pretty singular.
I know we got to get out, but here's the thought I had when I was driving over here today.
Yep.
If I'm the Thunder, and you're going to think this is an outrageous statement, I contemplate trading Paul George.
Get more for him than you get for Russ?
I think you could trade him to a team with assets easier because he could fit in to a team. Like, say they traded him to Philadelphia. You could get a lot of good players back, or not a lot, but you could get a couple good players back that fit with Russell better. That I just think that you'd have a harder time trading Westbrook, I think.
Well, you would. Oh, there's no question about that now. But who's the guy that you'd rather have?
Yeah, Paul George.
Paul George. Now the only part of that, the caveat to that is, even though Paul George did come there in free agency and then stayed, he does not have anything like the history with the team in the city that Russell Westbrook has. I mean, we look at this thing from up here in the Northwest, and after this series, and it's easy to throw stones. Russell Westbrook has built up so much love, particularly with Kevin Durant leaving, with the people and the franchise.
And that's the other thing. That's
a major factor.
Absolutely. That's I mean,
they're going to sit here and scream that we are morons, that fan base, about this because of how much love they have for Russell Westbrook and because of he had another triple-double, man. He did.
Here's the thing. I'm not much of a plus-minus guy, but this sums up Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook had 29, 14, and 11 last night, and he was still in a negative plus-minus.
-4. Paul George, +6. 11 for 31. Missed 20 shots. 33%?
Yeah.
Just over.
Not great.
Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Give us a call, 329-1899. Got some trivia questions here for you. Got some wings for you as well. You get a couple of trivia questions right, you're going to go to the Desperado Sports Tavern, the best wings in the city of Missoula. So give us a shout, 329-1899. Some trivia with you next.
It's time for the spring tire sale at Les Schwab. Save up to $200 depending on tire size and type on a set of 4 tires, including the Open Country AT2 and MT, some of our previous best sellers. Of course, you'll get the warranty we've stood behind for 65 years at no extra charge. And now you can book an appointment online at leschwab.com. Les Schwab Tires. Doing the right thing matters. Limited warranty conditions apply. For details, visit leschwab.com.
On Russell, across from the fairgrounds.
Town Pump toasts Montana by uncorking one of the best wine selections you'll find in any store at any time. Quality, affordable wine, huge selection, big time. And Town Pump wine prices won't give you bottle shock. So when it's wine o'clock, just take the wine walk at your statewide Town Pump locations. Pleasing Montana's palate for over 50 years.
Hey folks, the best season of the year is upon us. That's right, it's tax return season, and there's one place to have the most fun and make that refund check stretch further than anywhere else: Selway Armory. Selway Armory has the largest selection of firearms, ammo, and accessories of anywhere around, and they have the expertise to go with it. It's not everywhere that you can shop local and save money, but Selway Armory will meet or beat any box store price, and your money stays in Montana. It's tax return time, so get more bang for your buck at Selway Armory. Visit online at selwayarmory.com.
Lithia Ford of Missoula is proud to announce that they have donated a new Ford Transit van to the Boys and Girls Club of Missoula County. This marks the club's first new 15-passenger van. Without safe and reliable transportation, the 440 youth the club serves every year would not be able to access their 5 after-school clubhouses or 9-week summer club. It's groups like this that make a significant difference in our community, and Lithia Ford of Missoula is proud to be a partner in their effort. Be sure to give them a good honk and a friendly wave when you see them.
The Big Sky Breakdown at SkylineSportsMT.com continues to give you the inside look from around the Big Sky Conference and the state of Montana. The most in-depth podcast in the Treasure State gives you multiple episodes each week year-round with commentary, analysis, interviews, and entertainment from around one of the most storied conferences in the West.
Whether it's full uncut interviews with Montana State head football coach Jeff Choate or Travis, his outstanding Montana men's basketball team, everything you need to hear is available on the Breakdown. Take a look inside the best stories in the conference and the most detailed analysis. The Big Sky Breakdown, it has you covered.
Whether it's X's and O's acumen of Brooks Nuanez or the comedic banter of Ryan Tootell or the dry humor of Andrew Houghton.
And don't forget the best connections to everybody that matters in the sports world across the Big Sky Conference from Colter Nuanez. And by the way, thank you for calling me funny.
You're welcome. The Big Sky Breakdown will present you with all of it and more at SkylineSportsMT.com.
The Big Sky Breakdown, proudly presented by Town Pump Food Stores and Selway Armory.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Ryan Tootell, Colter Nuanez, Sports Center. The Russ Pilcher Top 10 Track and Field Meet at Missoula County Stadium took place yesterday and saw several outstanding performances. Missoula Sentinels' Ashley McElmary, who is Nebraska-bound next year, took home 3 titles in the 100 and 300 hurdles and in the triple jump. Her teammate on the boys' side, Jaden Foster, won the 100-meter dash with a time of 11.09 seconds. Also, Jefferson's Avery Stiles set a meet record in the high jump, clearing 6 feet 9 1/4 inches to beat Trey Tinninger's mark by a 1/4 inch.
Shout out to Russ Pilcher, one of the great coaches I ever had. Big Sky. It was a day of series enders in the NBA Tuesday, none more impressive than that of Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers. Down 15 with 7 minutes remaining to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Blazers stormed back to win 118-115 on Lillard's 37-foot bomb as time expired. The Weber State alum had 50 points and set a new Portland postseason record with 10 made threes. The Trailblazers take the series 4-1 and will face the winner of Denver-San Antonio, which Denver leads 3-2 after a 108-90 victory last night in the Mile High City.
Philadelphia finished off their series with Brooklyn 122-100. The 76ers won 4 straight after falling in Game 1. They will face Toronto in the conference semis as the Raptors also knocked Orlando out of the postseason with a 115-96 victory. Ooh, so good you can almost taste it, can't you? wings from the Desperado. It's Tootell and Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television. Great to be with you. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for spending some time with us on your radios. We are broadcasting live from the Kurtz Polaris studios. Kurtz Polaris at 2904 West Broadway in Missoula. Also on Highway 83 in Sealy. Check them out online at kurtzpolaris.com. It is time now for a Wing It Wednesday. We do this every Wednesday, do some trivia questions, see if we can't get somebody down to the Desperados. So we go to the phones and we welcome in Josh to the show. Josh, how you doing? Josh, do we have you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. How are you, man? You doing well? Is everything okay for you?
Yeah, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's going to be going better, though, if you can get some wings down. Am I right about this?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, here's the deal, Josh. We got 3 questions for you. If you get 2 of them right, you got yourself a basket of wings to the Desperado Sports Tavern. If you get all 3, we're going to go ahead and get you a shirt to go with that as well. How's that sound for you?
Sounds good.
Boys, some chicken wings would really hit the spot.
Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy.
Sorry,
Tommy and I
I'm mucking you up.
We're fighting over the button here.
Yep, my bad.
Nope,
my bad.
Nope.
It's amazing that they let us do this.
We're all good. We're good at this. I'm going to play it again, almost. Okay, Josh, have you made it through all of that? Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good.
I am here.
Excellent. That statement
Waiting for the circus.
Always true. Yes, well, here it comes. Quick and fast. All right, question number 1, Josh, for you. Who came back to win Game 7 of the San Jose Sharks Vegas Golden Knights series last night after being down 3-1 in the series and 3-0 in the third period of the final game?
Well, I went to bed. It was 3-0, and I woke up to find out Vegas blew it in overtime.
They
San
surely
Jose
did. And I'll tell you what, I wish you would have moved your bedtime back just a little bit, my friend, because you missed a heck of a 10 minutes of hockey.
When it's 3-0, it's impossible to come back and win that game in hockey. It just doesn't happen. There's no way.
Josh, God bless you for saying it's impossible. Shut the TV off.
Happen.
Let me go to sleep now. It's over.
Yeah, that cannot. That's like a 60-point lead in basketball in the fourth quarter.
It's exactly what it's. They lost a 60-point lead. That's a great analogy, actually. They lost a 60-point lead in the fourth quarter of a basketball game. So true. It's unbelievable. Anyway, correct, by the way, and good for you for watching hockey, my friend. You're rewarded by getting halfway home to some wings. Question number 2. What 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback just got a 2-year, $68 million extension at the age of 37?
Oh. You said 2-time winning. Say that again?
Yep, 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback just got a $68 million extension, 2-year, $68 million.
I want to say it's Russell with Seattle, because I know he just got extended, but I don't remember if they won twice or just once.
Well, you do have a lifeline if you're thinking about it.
I'm trying to think through who else got an extension. Dang, you're saying quarterback.
I am saying quarterback. Yes, indeed.
Okay, 2-time winner.
You're a hockey man, Josh. That's what I know.
Well, actually, I like football. I like football more. I'm really surprised I don't know this, but I'm trying to think of who won Super Bowls. I'm trying to think if Roethlisberger, because I'm trying to think as far as Super Bowls. There's Brady, Manning. I'm going to say Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger is correct.
Great deduction.
Very well done with
Good.
the Pittsburgh
Well,
Steelers.
I didn't think Jim. What's his name? Russell Westbrook.
Russell Wilson.
Wilson, I didn't think he had won twice, just once, right?
That is correct, just once. And his extension is a 5-year deal rather than just a 2-year, because he's much younger than Big Ben. But nonetheless, very well done. You got yourself some wings. Congratulations on that. Let's see if we can get you a shirt as well. You still have your lifeline. What quasi-sporting event begins tomorrow and runs through Saturday?
What quasi-sporting event starts tomorrow? And runs through Saturday?
Yep.
Heck if I know.
Well, you might as well tap into your lifeline on this one then, because
might as
no
well.
reason not to. Can't take it with you.
Tomorrow's Thursday through Saturday.
Coulter, you're looking at me. You got.
I didn't. I thought that I couldn't figure out what you were talking about, but I'll get you. Do you want to use your lifeline? Because I got it for you. I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's the NFL draft.
Let's use it. Oh well. Yeah. Okay.
Sporting event is misleading. That's why the word quasi is in there.
Yeah, I was so confused
maybe not
at
the
first.
right way to go with it. But guess what?
Yeah.
Coulter, as usual, is reading my mind and has nailed it with NFL draft. 3 for 3 for you, Josh. Very well done. You got there. You got the wings. You got the shirt. Give your information to Tommy. We'll get you all lined out with all the goodies. All right?
Sounds good, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh. Well done.
And the Cardinals are going to screw it up if they draft another quarterback.
Who should they take, or should they trade out of it?
Well, if they can trade out of it, usually you can't because it's too expensive. But I'd definitely go with defense or an offensive line. They got a terrible line. Josh Rosen's a good quarterback, and they got a horrible line. Josh Rosen would be the first pick in this year's draft.
Josh,
it's crazy to me.
This is great work by you. You come in here, you win the wings, you win the shirt, and then you give us draft analysis on the eve of the NFL draft. That's great work.
I'm just the fake wannabe Kuiper.
Well, you're doing a great job. I hope your hair's looking great. Also, get that thing all done up well. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate the call. Tootell, Nuanez, ESPN Radio. We'll do another one of those in the second hour. You can get yourself ready for that. 15 minutes from now, Tucker Sargent going to be in here with us. Looking forward to that. By the way, just to remind everybody, we are live on the YouTube stream.
The YouTube.
Tootell and Nuanez YouTube channel is up and running. We will talk to you there. We can chat with you if you'd like. So if you want to watch it, you go on there to the YouTube and type in Tootell and Nuanez, and lo and behold, our beautiful faces on your computer screen, phone, what have you, it's going to appear.
Guess who I heard the number one candidate to get Josh Rosen is now?
Green Bay Packers?
The New Orleans Saints.
What a step up for Josh Rosen that would be.
Go learn behind Drew Brees. Wow. That would be a great fit for him. We're going to do some more NFL draft stuff tomorrow. But here's the thing. I sort of agree with the analysis that if they draft Kyler Murray, that they're going to screw it up. They just hired a college coach who won 10 games the last 2 years combined. They have to draft Kyler Murray. They're already halfway home on this experiment. They got to finish it. And it might work. I don't think it will, but it might.
What are we doing next?
Prep Extra, a little track and field. Top 10 meet yesterday. We'll get you all up to date with all the best from the state of Montana.
The Montana Club invites you to stop in for Club Cocktail Hour. Every day from 3 to 6, sip on $5 martinis. Get $1 off all wine and beer, including cool Montana micros. Enjoy $3 off all mouth-watering appetizers, or swing by Friday for Montini Night and perfectly mixed $5 top shelf martinis from 3 to close. It's time to relax at the Montana Club. Real Montana, real food on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
Alpine Touch is legendary around the state of Montana for providing delicious seasonings for every grilling occasion. Now, Alpine Touch offers so much more, from a savory new barbecue sauce to spicy pepper blends to tasty barbecue rubs. In addition to the classic, Alpine Touch has a variety of seasoning salts for whatever you need to spice up. Now that the holidays are over, Alpine Touch makes a perfect thank you gift to show your friends and relatives you love them. Alpine Touch, available at retail locations around Montana or online at alpinetouch.com. Alpine Touch, Montana's special spice.
This is Mike Nugent with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Berkshire Hathaway provides Western Montana with full-time real estate professionals for you whenever you need us. Our reputation as the state's most knowledgeable and available real estate group has helped build unmatched trust in the Garden City and statewide. If you have been thinking of making a real estate move in the short or long term, give me a call. No pressure, no expectations. Just professional opinions and service at whatever pace you are comfortable with. Give me, Mike Nugent, a call today, 531-1802. And remember, every question is good to ask.
Hey everybody, Ryan Tootell, and I'm here with Josh of the Advocates Injury Law Firm. Josh, there's a lot of lawyers in this area. What makes you different?
At the Advocates, we primarily focus on injury cases. That gives us the experience and the knowledge to correctly evaluate your case and work with insurance companies and other attorneys so you get exactly what you deserve to make you whole again. We take really good care of our clients, and we're going to fight for every single dollar you deserve.
Call 640-4444 or online at montanaadvocates.com. There are a lot of lawyers. You deserve an advocate.
Everybody knows that high school sports generate suspense, excitement, and drama.
They also generate higher grade point averages, stronger work habits, and greater self-esteem.
Everybody knows that high school sports give us more value for our entertainment dollar.
They also give us leaders committed to strengthening communities right here in Montana. The true value of playing sports in school can't be measured in wins and losses or dollars and cents. Studies show that participation in sports, along with other extracurricular activities, is one of the best ways to teach leadership, cooperation, accountability, and other invaluable life skills. Don't just stand on the sidelines. Encourage the young people you know to get in the game. When you do, you'll be helping them get ahead in life. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Montana High School Association and the Montana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
If it matters to Missoula, it matters to us. Ryan Tootell and Colter Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Top 10 track meet last night, or yesterday afternoon, rather. And great performances at that, as you might expect. It is, after all, the top 10. It's Tootell and Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio, broadcasting live from the Kurtz Polaris Studios. Kurtz Polaris at 2904 West Broadway in Missoula, Highway 83 in Sealy. Check them out online at kurtzpolaris.com. It is time for our Prep Extra segment, brought to us by the Farmers State Bank. All the bank you'll ever need under one roof: checking, savings, investments, mortgage loans, personal loans, mobile banking, options, internet banking, all of it. Farmers State Bank. All right, Colter. We know that Ashley McElmurray had three individual wins in the 100 and 300 meter hurdles. She also won the triple jump, I think 39 feet 4 1/4 inches, something like that. And several of those, I think, were meet records at the least.
The triple jump was a meet record, yeah.
Okay. Jefferson High School, Avery Stiles, 6 feet 9 1/4 inches on the high jump, which is...
I bet that's probably going to win Class B.
Probably going to win.
I remember I used to when I was in high school, I didn't do track. I was always playing baseball, but the weekday track meets, I'd always volunteer. At just, do the measurements and stuff like that. And so I remember being at the top 10 meet when Kellen Carter from CMR set the meet record for the high jump. And that was a long time ago. I mean, that was 15 years ago. And that's a hell of a record. I mean, 6'9" ½ is a huge jump for a high school kid.
Well, and he set this is the new meet mark, the 6 feet 9 1/4 inches. Trey Tittinger set it at 6 feet 9 inches even 2 years ago. And these two, like you were saying, have been kind of going at each other in this high jump.
Well, and then there's the Julius Mims kid from
Helena?
From Billings Skyview, excuse me. Tittinger's from Helena.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's some elite triple jumpers. I think that the top 10 meet is one of the coolest things in high school sport in Montana because it's not for everyone from all over the state because it is a little bit tough to get to Missoula on a Tuesday if you're from the eastern part of the state. But it is top 10 marks from a vast part of the state, especially like the high population center west of the Rockies, west of the Divide, basically. And there was some huge marks. I mean, not only did you mention McElmurray setting a couple records, the high jump mark, but there was a couple other epic records as well. The 100-meter record, which has stood for a long time, Talia DeJohn from Dillon, she broke that. 12.47 is what she ran. I think there's actually two girls under the previous meet record.
Mark, yeah.
Yeah.
Jaden Foster won the 100 meters at 11.09 seconds. I think he's the only sprinter who's gone under 11 this year.
Yep.
10.54, something like that.
Craig Metler was telling us, Craig Metler, Sentinel track coach, was on Monday, and I was talking to him as I was walking him out, and he was saying that they're trying this new sprint strategy. So basically, they only do short bursts during practice, and then they use the sprint, like the meet, as their conditioning day. So it used to be, you'd run 1 billion 100 meters or 1 billion 200 meters when you're a 100 and 200 meter runner. Now they're only running like 30 yards, 40 yards at a time. Just get out the blocks as fast as you can go, and then it makes it so that your acceleration is so much better. Not your acceleration per se in the race, your acceleration of improvement. And that's how a kid like Jaden Foster goes from running 11.5 3 weeks ago to bam, he's run 10.9. That's a gigantic improvement when you're talking about the sprints. And I thought it was a good strategy. But no, impressive marks yesterday across the board. And I like tracking this stuff too because there's a lot of kids that are football or basketball guys, and these meets let them compete against each other and shows what kind of true athletes they really are. I mean, Rylan Ort was in here the other day. He's one of the best javelin throwers in the state. He's going to play football at Montana State. Jace Klusevich is a kid to keep your eye on. He's a sophomore at Frenchtown High School, but he is real deal fast, and he's a great long jumper, but he's also a tremendous football player. He'll be one of the best prospects in the state by the time he's a senior. Elias DeWaters is coming to Montana to play running back from Sentinel. He plays in both the long jump and the triple jump. Just a lot of guys that are showing their athletic versatility.
One question for you on this stuff. Wouldn't you know? It's there and then it's gone.
You already forgot? That was hard.
Yeah, that was. It's very hard.
Another kid to keep your eye on, a kid that's been climbing pretty quick, is Tommy Malott. He played quarterback Butte High the last 2 years. He's going to be a senior this next year for football, but he's a kid that's had a breakout year in track and field, and I think it shows his versatility. Butte High's been really, really young the last couple of years. Ari Gray over there is really trying to rebuild that thing, and Malott is a guy. I mean, he's playing quarterback and safety there. I don't know what he'd play in college, but the fact that he is, a sub 11.5 guy in the 100, a sub 24-second guy in the 200, and a really good long jumper shows he has great athleticism, and it'd be interesting to see how he continues to develop because he's a guy that's kind of burst onto the scene lately. I watched him play quarterback when I went over there. I watched Big Sky versus Butte, Levi Janicaro's senior year, and the Eagles clinched the 2 seed with a win at Naranche Stadium, but I was impressed with Malott as only a sophomore, and now here he is a junior, and it seems like he's really physically developing, and he's a guy that could definitely turn some heads here in upcoming this upcoming football season. Another note, Ashley McElmurray, obviously one of the great female athletes in the state of Montana, period. But we're efforting her. We expect her to be here with us in studio next week, so that'll be fun.
Very good. That's our Prep Extra segment. It's brought to us by the Farmers State Bank. On the other side, hour one now in the books. Tucker Sargent in studio with us, the PNCLL Lacrosse Championships at Washington Grizzly Stadium this weekend. He's going to talk with us about that and what's going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there all weekend. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Hey, make your summertime dreams come true during the Marine Expo happening right now at Brett's RV and Marine. Go browse an awesome selection of boats in their 20,000 square foot indoor heated showroom and save big with incredible preseason pricing. Visit BrettsRV.com to gear up for summer with fishing boats starting at $199 down and $199 a month, and surf boats starting at only $459 a month. Go to the Marine Expo only at Brett's RV and Marine and make this summer one to remember. Hey folks, Ryan Tootell, and I'm here with Josh of The Advocates. Josh, do most injury accidents end up in court?
Luckily, most personal injury cases can be settled out of court through a fair negotiation with an insurance company. However, sometimes it is necessary. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to get a fair settlement. Luckily, most personal injury cases can be settled out of court with a fair negotiation with the insurance company. However, I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to get the right settlement for you.
It's Josh at The Advocates, 640-4444, or online at montanaadvocates.com.
The Big Sky Breakdown at SkylineSportsMT.com continues to give you the inside look from around the Big Sky Conference and the state of Montana. The most in-depth podcast in the Treasure State gives you multiple episodes each week year-round with commentary, analysis, interviews, and entertainment from around one of the most storied conferences in the West.
Whether it's full uncut interviews with Montana State head football coach Jeff Choate or Travis Secure's thoughts on his outstanding Montana men's basketball team, everything you need to hear is available on the Big Sky Breakdown. Take a look inside the best stories in the conference and the most detailed analysis in the state. The Big Sky Breakdown, it has you covered.
Whether it's X's and O's acumen of Brooks Nuanez or the comedic banter of Ryan Tootell or the dry humor of Andrew Houghton.
And don't forget the best connections to everybody that matters in the sports world across the Big Sky Conference from Colt to Nuanez. And by the way, thank you for calling me funny.
You're welcome. The Big Sky Breakdown will present you with all of it and more at SkylineSportsMT.com.
The Big Sky Breakdown, proudly presented by Town Pump Food Stores and Selway Armory. Hey folks, the best season of the year is upon us. That's right, it's tax return season, and there's one place to have the most fun and make that refund check stretch further than anywhere else, Selway Armory. Selway Armory has the largest selection of firearms, ammo, and accessories of anywhere around, and they have the expertise to go with it. It's not everywhere that you can shop local and save money, but Selway Armory will meet or beat any box store price, and your money stays in Montana. It's tax return time, so get more bang for your buck at Selway Armory. Visit online at selwayarmory.com.
Whether you're shopping for your first home, need something bigger, or downsizing for retirement, you need a mortgage. Talk to the experts at Farmers State Bank or start the application process online at farmersebank.com. Our mortgage lenders have many options to help you into the home of your dreams, from conventional to in-house, VA, rural development, and more. Farmers State Bank, your Montana bank since 1907, an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Hey, Tootell and Nuanez is on from 4 to 6 every afternoon on 102.9 ESPN Radio.
We also know that not everybody can listen to all 2 hours every single day.
Well, they should, Coulter. I mean, what else do you have to do? Take off work early, drive home slow, and sit in your driveway for 70 minutes to get the entire show.
Here's the thing. We've made it easy for everybody to listen to the show every single day whenever it's convenient for them by podcasting every show.
Well, that's nice of us.
You can listen to the full Tootell and Nuanez every single day on iTunes, the TuneIn Radio app, Spotify, and Podbean. Tootell and Nuanez, the podcast, available thanks to the Wingate by Wyndham Hotel.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Ryan Tootell, Colton Nuanez, ESPN Sports Center. The Russ Pilcher Top 10 Track and Field Meet at Missoula County Stadium took place yesterday and saw several outstanding performances. Missoula Sentinels' Ashley McElmary, who is Nebraska-bound next year, took home 3 titles in the 100 and 300 hurdles and also in the triple jump. Her teammate on the boys' side, Jaden Foster, won the 100-meter dash with a time of 11.09 seconds. Also, Jefferson's Avery Stiles set a meet record in the high jump, clearing 6 feet 9 1/4 inches to beat Trey Tittinger's mark that she set 2 years ago by 1/4 inch.
In a day of series enders in the NBA, Tuesday, none more impressive than that of Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers. Down 15 with under 7 minutes remaining to Oklahoma City, the Blazers stormed back to win 118-115 on Lillard's 37-foot bomb. As time expired, the former Weber State Wildcat had 50 points and set a new Portland postseason record with 10 made threes. The Trailblazers take the series 4-1 and will face the winner of the Denver-San Antonio series, which Denver leads 3-2 after a 108-90 victory last night in the Mile High City.
Philadelphia finished off their series with Brooklyn 122-100 last night. The Sixers won 4 straight after falling in Game 1. They will face Toronto in the conference semis as the Raptors also knocked Orlando out of the postseason with a 115-96 victory. Segment is for you. If you're not, the segment is for you. Time to become one. It's Tootell and Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. We are broadcasting live from the Kurtz Polaris studios. Kurtz Polaris at 2904 West Broadway in Missoula, Highway 83 in Sealy. Check them out online at kurtzpolaris.com. If you missed anything at all in the first hour, we got you covered. You can listen on the podcast. Podcast available on the TuneIn Radio app and on iTunes and on Spotify. It is presented by the Wingate by Wyndham Hotel. You can listen on the stream if you'd like to listen in live. It's there at 1029ESPN.com. Stream's brought to us by Opportunity Bank, your local bank, your opportunity. You can also watch live on YouTube. Tootell and Nuanez YouTube stream out there. Interactive. Fun times. Good stuff. What's so funny? Why is everybody
laughing?
Funny
because it's like on a 10-second delay.
Yeah.
Or like a 20-second delay.
So then I was dancing.
Yeah.
And then I see myself dancing like 20
Coulter and I are
seconds
just
later.
watching us right now.
You're into.
I mean,
the stream,
I don't know. It's
Tucker
Tucker really wants to see himself on the thing. I find it horrifying that I'm on any sort of
you
video.
Need to move over to the right.
Well, I mean, I had to do the show for over 2 years and never got to see myself. But I got a bad spot right now. I can see Tommy's dialing it up right now, though. What's up?
Hi, Tucker. Tucker Sargent, boys and girls, back in studio with us.
Just celebrated his 40th birthday last night.
Right. Yeah, big 4-0.
It certainly
great.
We celebrated like it was a big birthday.
Speak for yourselves. I was a good boy. I took care of myself. It was a school night.
Yeah, you guys were there with me.
I mean,
I was there.
When you go to Hoo Ha and you eat that much food, I don't think it's actually possible to get that intoxicated. But then you get all the residuals afterwards, right? Like today, I felt all the beers I drank last night.
Oh, absolutely.
Last night, hardly at all, because I had 10 pounds of noodles in my stomach.
It was a fun time, though.
It was a great time. I thought it was
a lot of good conversation.
Great.
Happy birthday, Tucker.
Thanks, guys.
Tucker Sargent is the head coach of the University of Montana lacrosse team, among a number of other hats that he wears. But it's literally that hat today. Very nice look up there on the dome.
Yeah, you like the Carhartt hats?
I do like
Got a lot of people asking for these.
I would think so. Why don't you show the camera? Look up there. Let them see the nice work, okay? Tucker, the University of Montana is hosting the PNCLL playoffs this weekend, starting on Friday, running through Sunday. And this is a big deal. There's going to be, 6 teams from 2 divisions, so a total of 12 teams in Missoula?
So there's going to be 10 teams total.
Oh, 10 teams.
But we're in the tournament, so we actually take away one of the visiting teams. So there's going to be 9 teams from out of town coming, and there's 2. So how it works out, because a lot of people get confused by this, and it really doesn't matter. If you just want to watch lacrosse, come down, check it out. They're all going to be great games, but there's 2 divisions, basically broken by school size typically. So
Washington and Oregon are different from, Pacific Lutheran. Go Lutes.
Absolutely. And so what you have is you're going to have the PNCLL, Pacific Northwest Collegiate Lacrosse League. There's 4 teams in Division I coming and 6 teams from Division II, just because the Division II is bigger, so more teams make the playoff. But from Division I, you have University of Oregon, University of Washington, Boise State, and then Simon Fraser. And that might be the one school people aren't that familiar with because, well, it's a Canadian school. It's the lone Canadian school that plays in the U.S. College Lacrosse League.
Well, I got to tell a funny story about Simon Fraser. This is total tangent, but
go for it. Love tangents. That's why I'm here.
Simon Fraser, they joined the Great Northwest Athletic Conference for football back in 2010, and they were going to be the first Canadian university to play American rules football. So, understandably, they took their lumps because most of their players are Canadian, and they'd played Canadian League football, and then they were going to come play 11-on-11 in America against in that league at the time was really good because Western Washington just dropped football, so Central Washington absorbed a lot of those players. Central Washington was nationally ranked top 5, but Central Washington is a bastion for transfers. It's kind of like a last chance U of Division II, and so many guys from all over the place that, washed out at schools for various things, whether it was grades or getting in trouble or getting hurt or whatever, they found themselves in Central Washington. They brought in 35 transfers. My last year living in Ellensburg covering that team. Well, when Simon Fraser joined the league, every team in the league had to play a league game in Canada, which means you got to take a bus over the border. You got customs. You got Border Patrol, all this stuff. So Bladen Bennett hired an assistant coach whose job was explicitly to make sure that every single guy on his team had a visa or a passport to go over the border. Because if you get to the border, a DUI, for example, is a felony in Canada. So if you have gotten a DUI in America, sometimes you can't go over the border.
Yeah, it's for like 10 years. We've actually had it. So we play Simon Fraser.
So you've dealt with this. This is interesting. We deal with this
often, and there has been it's not every year, but there have been years where we've just had to leave kids at the border. We go play our game, and then we pick them back up on the
three kids I remember from Central that year had to get off the bus.
Yeah, you just hang out. Also, funny thing about Simon Fraser, they bill themselves as Canada's NCAA school.
Interesting.
So, like, when you go there, like, above their football field, Terry Fox Field, been there a number of times, it says, "Welcome to Canada's football field."
Wow. That's a bold
So they're claiming a lot. Anyway, they're going to be down here. And then we also have Central Washington coming to downtown, Western Oregon, Gonzaga University, Southern Oregon, and
College of Idaho.
College of Idaho, correct.
This is obviously a major event. Tons of people, not just the teams, but fans, family, and so forth.
Oh, and these teams roll deep too. They got some. There's a lot of people coming to town.
There sure are, and this tournament is. There's lacrosse has a lot of tournaments throughout the course of the year and so forth and so on. In addition to just games, this is the postseason. You're in the playoffs now, and so it's the one game, loser go home. Loser goes home, winner moves on, and the two teams from Division I and Division II that win the championship go into the national tournament, which this year for Division II is in Salt Lake City.
Correct.
So University of Montana.
Actually, both. So it's funny.
Are they both there?
Yeah,
okay.
they're both there. So they're all in the same location. You just have your own, like, your subdivisions within the tournaments.
And Tucker, the Grizz, very good season in conference this year. Got a bye in the first round of the tournament, so you are waiting around on Friday to play one of the winners from Friday's games on Saturday.
Right. So we're going to play the winner of the Gonzaga and Western Oregon matchup.
Okay.
And so we're going to hang out. All the boys will be down at the stadium checking it out. There's games at 1 o'clock on Friday and 4 p.m. Those are the I guess the quarterfinals where the two teams kind of playing into the semifinals. And then Saturday, it's just all semifinals, Division I and Division II. So you've got College of Idaho. It's the number one seed from the Division II subdivision, and they're waiting for the winner of Southern Oregon and Central Washington. And so they'll play at 10 on Saturday. We'll play Saturday at 1.
So the Grizzlies, if you want to go watch the Grizzlies play at 1 o'clock Saturday against either Western Oregon or Gonzaga, but it'll definitely be at 1 o'clock on
Definitely,
on
100%. The Grizz are playing at 1 o'clock. And then you've got Division I matchups at 4 and 7 p.m. as well.
Washington and Simon Fraser at 4, Oregon at Boise State. By the way, if people don't know, etc., but Simon Fraser was for the longest time the absolute dominant force in this division of lacrosse for years and years of just unbeatable,
absolutely,
because it is hockey's summertime sort of national sport. A lot of times these kids have been playing all the way through indoor box lacrosse.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're having a bit of a down year this year,
right.
but it wouldn't surprise me at all if they jump up and get hot when it's the right time. There's something about the Canadian mentality where you're never down and beaten, and this is a team I would never bet against. Washington's coming in as the overall 1 seed from Division I, but there was a 10-9 game when they played Simon Fraser earlier this year, so it's right there. So I don't think that, and no one in the Division I has much of an advantage.
The Canadian hockey players, Coulter, are exactly like in mentality what we talk about when we talk about the Australian basketball players. This is what you're dealing with on the lacrosse field.
Yeah, and for all of you out there, people who don't know, Ryan Tootell has played in this tournament. Back in his college days, Ryan Tootell was a vaunted member of the defense from Pacific Lutheran. Now, that team has also fallen off as of late.
Well,
but
I graduated.
I think it has a lot to do with your departure.
Yeah, that. This goes back so far that there was not even divisions when I played.
That's
it was
true.
All just in together. We beat down University of Washington, and we beat Simon Fraser once. So our crowning.
I think you can count on one hand the number of wins Pacific Lutheran has had since you left.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing, dude? Why you kicking dirt on my guys?
This is a compliment to you, man.
So the last time we had you in the studio, we talked about you had kind of a tough start to the year, played some good teams, but then you guys picked up some momentum, went to California, played really well, and since that time, I think you won 6 out of your last 7 matches. The lone loss being to the rival, but other than that, I mean, you guys seem like you're playing your best lacrosse right now coming to this tournament. Tell us about your team. I mean, how big of a turning point was that when you guys were able to rip through those 3 wins in California, and I would just evaluate how you guys are playing right now.
Well, I mean, I think that was huge, and it started actually before our trip to California. We started to get things rolling. We got 2 conference wins right before our California trip against Central Washington and Gonzaga, and that was huge. Just letting the guys know that, oh yeah, getting those conference wins is almost as big or bigger because they set you up for where you are in the postseason. That's what we want to be as overall one seed, so we have a bye. So going into that, and then the wins in California were tremendous as far as the morale and getting the team playing well. But I think it's very just reflective. It's sort of what I expected of this group of guys. I mean, we started out slow and tough, but this is an outdoor sport. We had a very difficult start to the season where it was hard to get on fields. We had practices in gyms, and it was really hard to replicate a lot of the stuff that you want to do. Going up against, early season, we played teams that had domes, and they could get a lot more quality practice time in. So I think once we were able to get out on fields and get to just playing in better normal lacrosse practices and then go out and play some teams, we started to fall into places to where we really should be as a team. So I think that it wasn't like this team's coming into form. They are coming into form, but it's not like they're doing something that was like, oh man, now they're really doing well. It's just that they started to realize that, if we play together and get quality practice time in, this is where we can be. And I think this is a very talented group of guys, and it's just one of those things that you have to play together for, to feel each other out. There's a lot of flow in this game, much like basketball where, you could draw up all the set plays in the world, but I mean, I give all the credit to the guys when you're out on the field. I mean, they're the ones doing the work. Coaches really you can call some timeouts here and there. You can put certain people on the field, but it's the players playing with each other that are doing the work. So I think what we're seeing right now is just that we're at a point in the season where we've now had enough practice, and the talent is starting to show through that we're playing our best lacrosse as we should.
One of the things. I think a lot of people, if they watch lacrosse, may think it's, a lot like football. It's played on a very comparable size field. A lot like hockey, obviously, because, you're putting the biscuit in the basket.
Well, you go behind the net.
Go behind the net, all that stuff. But the sport actually that lacrosse is the most like is basketball. The movement of the players on the field in lacrosse is nearly identical in many ways to what it is in a basketball game. The way that you can move through, moving without the ball, screen setting, and so forth. And obviously it happens on a larger acreage than what it does on the basketball floor. But it's like that. And they're right down now to there's a shot clock. I mean, it's a high-scoring game. It's, 10 goals a team. Is
right now we're averaging about 12 goals. Yeah. 12 goals for and 9 goals against on the season.
So that's there's a lot of scoring in it, much like obviously basketball as well. So that's a fun part of it as well. Tuck, if people want to go down there, I mean, obviously you can just show up. What, $10 to go, and that gets you in for the day, for the session. Well, how does it work?
Right. So it's we're playing. All the games are going to be in Washington Grizzlies Stadium. Mm-hmm. You could just get a ticket at the gate. I don't believe it's going to sell out. As much as I would love to see 30,000 people roll into this, I think we could probably get you. So all tickets are sold at the gate day of.
There actually are going to be a lot of people attending this, though.
There will.
About all the teams that are going to be represented.
Well, I mean, just the teams alone, you're looking at about 700 people right there with what they're bringing. And then there's also some youth lacrosse and a lot of other people coming in. So definitely check it out. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Tickets are $10 per or $10 per game, or you can buy a weekend pass that's good for Friday through Sunday for $20.
Okay.
And then students with the Grizz card and youth lacrosse players, we're trying to get the youth kids out there and get excited, are free.
Tucker, you've nailed it as always. Did you come in here with something else that you wanted to talk about?
I wanted to talk a little bit about hockey.
Great. This makes me so happy because I took my.
I'll come back after the break.
No, Coulter, this is gonna involve you because it's not anything about what's happened. It's more about how hockey is covered.
Yes.
And I've got a serious bone to pick with the state of hockey coverage, right? And for what it's been for a very long time.
The thing I love about hockey is that the seventh game in hockey is the best. Did you steal the words right out of your mouth?
That is the single biggest beef that I have with the sport of hockey and how it's covered. It's every broadcaster out there. If you listen to them, it's like their favorite thing to say about hockey, and a lot of them are Coulter, are like you, where they really don't pay it much attention. But everyone has sort of just come to the agreement that what they'll do to just like throw hockey a bone is say there's nothing like a Game 7 in the playoffs. Like that is the best. Hockey has that better than anyone else. And I always just think, like, why? What the heck does that even mean? Like, Game 7 in hockey is better than everything else. What if you don't care about the game? I would argue that Coulter probably finds a lot of Game 7s in basketball a lot more. It's just like, it's this little bone that they're throwing to the hockey world. It's like, yeah, we don't really talk about you very much, but we're just going to all sort of concede that the Game 7, which doesn't happen all that often, so we don't really have to talk about it that much, is going to be the best. You can have that one thing. And I just feel like, it's a very sort of talking down, a backhanded compliment to the sport of hockey, just saying that Game 7 in hockey is the best. And no one ever explains why it's the best. Like, why is Game 7 in hockey better than anything else? And then the second compliment they give it sometimes is they'll say there's nothing like the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's the best playoffs in sports. And I mean, for me personally, sometimes I feel that, but people just I feel like it's said without any reason behind it by many people who don't even truly believe what they're saying. They're just like, this, and it's like, we're going to say this because it makes me feel like, or makes me sound like I've got a little bit of insight and I'm going to give you people out there just a little bit of knowledge you might not have known. But did you know that the Stanley Cup playoffs is actually the best playoffs? And beyond that there's nothing like a Game 7 in
Tucker,
hockey.
Your beef is with the entire medium of sports talk radio.
100%.
That's all it is.
That's
out here bloviating.
But this is the one thing that they always circle out about. Like, say something else. Find something else. Like, I know it's BS, but like, work on your BS, man. Like, the whole sports media is just caught up in just saying, you know what, Game 7 is the best. Like, no way, that's total bogus. What if it's just a blowout? I mean, there's been plenty of bad Game 7s. Now, last night there were a couple good Game 7s.
I mean, there was the greatest game I've maybe ever
there
seen
was. So,
life.
I mean, that doesn't support my argument. And by the way, like, I am a hockey fan. I enjoy this.
You are a big hockey
but I'm just more defending the fact that, like, appreciate it for more than what it is.
It's like when you're talking about draft analysis and you got like the short white guy and all of a sudden he's a hard worker. He's, like, guy, they just say what they don't say what they mean. They just use all these other cliches about it. I agree with what you're saying. I think about this all the time because, like I always say, this is Ryan's show. I just participate. But I think doing talk radio is so fun. It's great. It's a great time.
It's fun.
Guys like us are going to sit around and yell at each other about sports anyways. So, like, why not broadcast it? But I keep thinking to myself,
I can think of a few reasons.
I keep thinking to myself, though, I know why I like football and basketball and to a certain extent baseball and certainly golf now. So much of it is because that's what I played. But I always think, why is it that when you turn on ESPN radio, you're talking, whether it's, Dan Le Batard or Will Kane or Bomani Jones or us, we're talking about LeBron James every single day. We're talking about the NFL every single day. And why is that? I guess why is it so much easier to talk about than something like hockey. And I think that there's a lot of reasons, but I think that the number one reason that hockey and to a certain extent baseball has fallen behind the NFL and the NBA is because of the lack of drama. And I don't mean drama in terms of the result of the game. It's the lack of drama in terms of the personalities.
Right. And one of the greatest things about hockey that I really loved was that, and I think that hockey guys, it's one of the coolest things they have, is they just put their nose down, you go to work, you do your thing, and you're not out there, just like puffing your chest and saying, I did all this great stuff.
Totally.
And so, it's just like, do your job, put your head down, go in the borders, dig out the puck, do that simple thing. And that mentality has made a lot of these guys great players, and they're great teams, and they're great teammates, and they do all this stuff. And, teams can stick together and make runs, but it doesn't offer that much off the field or off the ice when you're trying to cover it. And, truly, what is there to talk about in the NFL right now? The sport has been done for 2-3 months.
But it never stops giving because these guys keep getting in trouble. And the NFL draft. And,
right, they're
Ben
almost
Roethlisberger signs a $38 million extension, $68 million extension today.
So you're right. I think hockey is almost a victim of its own success.
Totally.
The measure for success is like, good teammates, good ownership, good how teams
totally
run well.
Totally. So tomorrow, 5:00, tune in, ESPN Roundtable. It's a great one with Jason Brown, head coach of the Montana men's tennis team, as well as, say his name for me, Oisin Shafferty. Oisin Shaffery.
Boy.
From Dublin, Ireland. It's a great interview, men's tennis. But we were talking to them, and they have such a harmonious team because these guys come from all corners of the globe. But, like, we're talking about college basketball. There's a 50-50 chance that you're leaving. It doesn't matter what school you play for. You're just going to transfer. I don't like my coach. I don't like my playing time. I'm out. 50-50 chance you're out. Same thing in college football, and there's so much drama associated with it. But, like, after sitting down for 30 minutes with those guys and talking about it, it's like, well, this is what college sports is all about. These guys love each other. They all came from different parts of the world. They think Montana's sweet. They're all getting along. They had a 3.7 GPA as a team, so they're killing it in the classroom. And it's funny, though, because they don't get the coverage because there is hardly any drama. Like, can you imagine that? Like, the Bleacher Report article that just came out about the Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, sure, right.
Can you imagine that about a hockey locker room? First of all, if somebody wrote that about Alexander Ovechkin, he'd just go in the locker room and punch everybody in the face and decide who was talking smack about him later.
The way we should be settling things, right? Culture just bring the fight.
But like, imagine that sort of a story in the NHL. It just wouldn't even happen.
There's a great podcast that I think you should listen to called Spit and Chicklets if you want to get that, because this is a bunch of ex-hockey guys who've been in it, and they know they got a lot of contacts in the league, and it's gained enough ground where they can pretty much just get about anyone.
Yeah.
But they're usually hour long, and what they get is just they get all the off the ice stories, and a lot of it is just antics that were done in the locker room, or dudes that because people have these feelings, you just don't hear about them, about guys they hate or something that they did that bothered them, or something that happened off ice, in a bar or something like this, where you get a lot of these great stories where that color can actually kind of bring you in, and it gives you what I think a lot of people are missing. And baseball is struggling with a lot of the same thing right now that you just don't get. And the other big thing that these two sports struggle with is national television coverage. I mean,
national television coverage and
superstars,
but that's why.
But that's hugely why. Yeah. And both of those, the two things that baseball and hockey have, is they had major lockouts which lost TV rights and disenfranchised. They had a lot of momentum. Going into 2004, hockey had a ton of momentum, was on ESPN. They get a lockout. ESPN drops them. They come back. They're on the Outdoor Life Network.
Yeah,
OLN.
Right.
Like, what is that?
That's 100% true, actually, because I remember being in high school and college and watching hockey a lot. I used to play the hockey video game.
Sure.
And I could have told you.
Were you the small, medium, or big guy?
Circa 2003, I could have told you 50 players in the NHL, maybe even more. Now,
you can't. And
10? I could name 10.
And the best channel that they've got is NBC Sports, which really, let's be clear, is second tier to ESPN.
For sure. Right. It is actually too bad. The other thing I think that hinders hockey more than any other of the big four, so to speak, is that people just don't understand the rules.
Yeah, which is sort of funny because like hockey has the least.
They're not that complicated. I just think people don't understand it. Like Ryan was talking about
you're trying to put the puck in the net. You can't throw it from one end of the ice all the way to the other without someone touching it. And
what's icing?
That's icing. So it can't go from
two lines.
No, so from the red line, which is the center line, across the goal line without someone touching it.
Why?
So you're not just throwing. So a team playing, isn't just throwing the puck down there and just kind of wasting time.
Keeps the action.
Yeah, keeps the action
clusters
in an area.
And then they're offsides.
Offsides is the guy with the puck.
Just like soccer.
Right? The guy with the puck has to cross the blue line before anyone else enters the offensive zone, so that you.
And the reason the puck itself,
or the puck itself, right? Correct.
The puck has to lead the player, right?
Yeah, the puck has to lead the player into the offensive zone, so that way you're not just camping someone out by the other person's goalie.
Interesting.
And you have to fight 3 times.
See, I think there's not enough fighting in hockey.
That was.
I wish that there was more.
Yeah, and it's going away from that pretty heavily. I mean, there's such a push for skill. I mean, the players are so much more skilled now. It's insane.
Totally.
Like, it's totally insane. And I know that Gretzky is the gold standard for greatness in hockey. But if you watch his highlights, man, like goalies look so bad back then. It's hilarious.
The shift in hockey is very basketball-esque. It's very NBA.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. And you watch Gretzky would go down and just like take a slap shot from the top of the circle, and the goalie would just like flail and miss it. I mean, right now you have to work so much harder to manufacture goals in hockey, and it's just because the skill at every position has gotten so much better.
The other thing I think is this holds back both hockey and baseball back is that there's so much that's happening during both those games that you can't see from the way that the television shows it to you.
Yeah, it doesn't transfer well. It doesn't transfer well at all.
You're not missing every guy that's on the field in a football game is in the picture for almost the duration of every single shot.
I actually think football is better on television.
TV. Totally.
I miss more at a football game. Like on TV, they replay, they got everything there.
Totally.
In a football game, I mean, like I fall for the play action all the time. The misdirection on the runs. Like it's so much harder to follow.
I've been to probably 4 times as many NHL games as any other pro sporting event I've gone to. I've been to probably 13 or 14 games just because it's affordable. Right. And if you're in a big city on a weeknight, you can go.
If there's a good chance there's a game.
And you can go $25. Yeah. Great seats and have a great time. But the first time I ever went to a pro an NHL game in Denver, I could not believe how much different it was than on TV. The speed that they skate, the amount of line changes. That doesn't translate to TV either. People don't realize these guys are skating as hard as they possibly can for 50 seconds, and then they're out.
Yeah.
It's over and over and over. And when you can see the whole thing, it's crazy. Like, there's stuff going on. Like, the puck might be down here on the TV shot. These guys are fighting on the other side of the ice, and they're not even showing it, you know?
Tucker.
Hey, you know what else is fast is lacrosse, and that's going to be this weekend at Washington Grizzly Stadium.
Bring it full
circle. The Grizz play at 1, so come on out, check it out.
1 o'clock on Saturday, and then if with a win, let's put it like this: a championship game for sure will be at 11 a.m. on Sunday.
That's correct, and that's where the Grizz are planning to be.
PNCLL is what you want to search if you want to find out the full schedule.
Actually, you could just it's on our website. So if you go to Grizzlax GRIZLAX.com,
there you go.
There's a tab that says PNCLL tournament, has the full schedule up there. Who's coming? Links to the game. You can actually if it doesn't seem like a nice day because you don't want to be outside when it's like 60 and sunny, which it's supposed to be on Saturday, and you want to watch it from your home, you can stream it. We will have it, and Ryan will be calling.
Ryan on the call.
That's right. I'm here all weekend.
I might make a cameo. We'll see.
On the
oh, you should. We'll do a 3-way. Let's get we'll get a bunch of mics in there and just do a full proper broadcast.
It will be this with a game to talk about. What a deal. Check it out on there, and best of luck this weekend, Tucker. It's playoff time, baby. Nothing like it.
That's right. Thank you.
Tucker Sargent, boys and girls. Tucker, thanks for stopping in here.
Always a pleasure, boys.
We'll now take your calls, 329-1899, 329-1899. We have a basket, as it were, of Desperado wings for you and some trivia questions. So 329-1899, we'll get you out there, and Coulter will ask some questions. See if we can't get you some wings to the Desperado right after this. Make your summertime dreams come true during the Marine Expo happening right now at Brett's RV and Marine. You'll browse an awesome selection of boats in their 20,000 square foot indoor heated showroom and save big with incredible preseason pricing. Visit BrettsRV.com. That's BRETZRV.com to gear up for summer with fishing boats starting at $199 down and $199 a month, and surf boats starting at only $459 a month. Go to the Marine Expo only at Brett's RV and Marine and make this summer one to remember. Hi, boys and girls. Ryan Tootell
and Coulter Nuanez
from Tootell and Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio, from your very favorite Tootell and Nuanez podcast, and now officially Gracious Mercy on television statewide.
That's right. We've been doing a radio show and a podcast since August of 2017, and now it's time for us to expand our reach into statewide television on SWX.
We're on SWX every weekday from 4 to 6 live on your televisions. It's available on channel 199 on Spectrum Cable or on 23.3 on your antenna television. And you can download the Watch SWX app and get us that way on your phones and devices as well.
And of course, we'll still be right here, 102.9 ESPN Radio from Missoula and the Bitterroot Valley. And as always, you can find the podcast, the live stream, and everything else you need, 1029ESPN.com.
Coulter, do you think that we're spreading ourselves too thin? Are we going to saturate these people and they're just going to start hating us, the inevitable backlash of the great heights to which we have now attained?
No chance. Tootell and Nuanez, Montana's only statewide sports talk show.
Good news. Missoulians can finally move into what we love best, being outside. Garden City Paint and Glass can help you get a head start on all those outside home improvement projects. Now is also a great time to start getting a jump on cracked windows and broken screens. Enjoy up to 25% off select products. And be sure to watch for PPG rebates to help the job along. Look good, stay comfortable, and keep energy costs down at Garden City Paint and Glass. 3217 Brooks or 549-0608.
At Opportunity Bank of Montana, they've been helping people with home loans for over 95 years. They're still here for you today with local lending professionals, local servicing, and a full range of real estate loan options and programs. It's your home and they're your hometown lender. Contact an Opportunity Bank mortgage lender today or visit them at opportunitybank.com. Your local mortgage lender, your opportunity. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We ate a lot of steaks before we came up with the Montana Club's Private Reserve Cut Angus. It's as good a steak as you're going to get. Our Private Reserve Cut Angus is specially cut for us. And with our custom seasoning, it has a flavor that's absolutely incomparable. We're confident that it will satisfy the most discriminating steak customer for an unrivaled steak experience. Real Montana, real food. The Montana Club on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
Hey folks, Ryan Tootell here, and I'm with Josh from the Advocates Injury Attorneys. Josh, if our listeners have been injured in an accident, how can you help?
We're here to help you after a car accident by negotiating with insurance companies, recovering lost wages if you have any, and even getting you into a rental car if you need one. Call us today for a free consultation, and we'll get started helping you right away.
If you need help, get a hold of the Advocates. Call Josh at 640-4444 or online at montanaadvocates.com. You deserve an advocate.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Ryan Tootell, Colton Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Sports Center. The Russ Pilcher Top 10 Track and Field Meet at Missoula County Stadium took place yesterday and saw several outstanding performances. Missoula Sentinels' Ashley McElmurray, who is Nebraska-bound next year, took home 3 titles in the 100 and 300 hurdles, as well as the triple jump. Her teammate on the boys' side, Jaden Foster, won the 100-meter dash with a time of 11.09 seconds. Also, Jefferson's Avery Stiles set a neat record in the high jump, clearing 6 feet 9 1/4 inches to beat Trey Tenninger's mark by a 1/4 inch.
It was a day of series enders in the NBA Tuesday, none more impressive than that of Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers. Down 15 with under 7 minutes remaining to Oklahoma City, the Blazers stormed back to win 118-115 on Lillard's 37-foot bomb as time expired. The former Big Sky Conference standout had 50 points and set a new Portland postseason record with 10 made three-pointers. The Trailblazers take the series 4-1 and will face the winner of Denver-San Antonio, which Denver leads 3-2 after last night's 108-90 victory in the Mile High City.
Philadelphia also finished off their series with Brooklyn in a 122-100 win. The Sixers won 4 straight after falling in Game 1. They will face Toronto in the conference semis as the Raptors also knocked Orlando out of the postseason with a 115-96 victory. What's better than wings? I mean, not too darn much, right? Think so.
Definitely Earth, Wind, and Fire for sure.
I mean, one man's opinion.
Ryan wasn't allowed to listen to music till his 30s, so he doesn't know about stuff from back then.
I'm pretty partial to the hot teriyaki sauce and Miley Cyrus. It's Tootell, Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. You don't like that joke? You didn't think that was funny? That was funny. I can't do better than that.
You need to read another dad joke for us, please.
I got a big bill from the electric company this month. I was shocked.
We want more.
Is at 2904 West Broadway, Missoula Highway 83, and see the online at kurtzpolaris.com. If you would like to call, 329-1899 is the phone number. Don't right now because Cal already has, but just for your own personal information. All guests join us via the Rangich Brothers RV phone line, and it is time for a Wing It Wednesday. Tommy, are you going to push the button in this one, or should I do it? Let's just clarify.
I had forgotten about it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this time.
You got it. Let's go to Cal. Cal, how you doing today, my friend? You having a nice afternoon there on a sunny Wednesday?
Well, that's pretty nice out right now. I'm about to go take some grounders before softball season starts, so we'll see how I'm doing after that.
See, these people think that these softball players, they just show up and start playing. Not Cal. He's in spring training right now. He's getting set up for the season.
Can you throw?
Prepared, boys.
Can I throw?
Can you throw?
I mean, physically speaking, yes.
Can you functionally play catch?
Yeah.
For
25
minutes?
Oh, that's maybe a little north.
You got a glove?
I don't have a glove.
I need to find a new ball.
I got you on a glove.
See?
Cal,
okay.
Okay. Cal, you don't even have to answer the questions. You bring me the glove, we'll give you the wings. I don't know if that's legal, strictly speaking, but that's the plan. Okay? Two guys.
We can work something out, I guess.
All right, Cal, here's the deal. We got a basket of wings for you, potentially, to the Desperado Sports Tavern, the best wings in the city of Missoula. You got to answer two questions correctly. If you answer a third question correctly, you're going to get a shirt as well to go with the wings. If you need help on any one of these, I am your lifeline. I have no idea what these questions are from Colton today. I have not seen them yet. So you and I are going to be hearing them both together for the first time. But here we go. We're going to see if we can get you some wings, all right?
All right.
Boy, some chicken wings would really hit the spot.
Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy.
I almost forgot to set Tommy up for the button push right there. I was just ready to get right into it, and then I would have been the one mucking this thing up a little bit.
I feel like it's day one of the show, and I love it.
Yeah, we are. We are not progressing. We are digressing here. Okay, question number one for Cal.
All right, Cal. Number one. Who is the only player from the Big Sky Conference to earn Rookie of the Year and First Team All-NBA honors?
Ooh. See, I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'm going to have to use my lifeline on this one.
Well, I mean, the first and most obvious answer that I can come up with here is Damian Lillard. And Coulter and I had a talk about this yesterday, that he is unequivocally the best player to come out of the Big Sky Conference into the NBA. And whether some of the very good basketball players, NBA players that have gone there, I don't think anybody's won the Rookie of the Year of the Big Sky before. So I would go with Damian Lillard on this one, Cal.
All right, I'm with Dame.
All right, Damian Lillard, 1 for 1. This could be tough if that was the lead-in to two incredibly more difficult questions. So
Ask him something about Pennsylvania.
We'll see where this goes, and maybe we'll pivot, and maybe I'll do something off the top of my head.
Have you ever heard of Gettysburg?
We really want Cal to win these games. So, okay.
Every blind squirrel finds a nut, right?
All right, number 2. Where did Damian Lillard go to college?
Oh, boy.
Not Pennsylvania. Which I believe C.J. McCollum did. Isn't Lehigh in Pennsylvania?
It is.
Yeah, C.J. McCollum.
Yeah.
Shoot. Sac State?
It's a very good guess.
It is a good guess. Weber State, where Damian Lillard went to college.
It's okay, Cal.
All right.
See what we got
I'm gonna pivot here. The third question is, Weber State has put 9 players in the NBA. Name one other one. Cal ain't getting that one. No one else in the world's probably getting that one except for me. So we're going to ask you a completely different question. Who is the last player from Pitt to win the Heisman Trophy?
The last player from Pitt.
I actually believe maybe the only player from Pitt to win the Heisman Trophy.
I'm going to jump in here on this one. If I'm not mistaken, Dan Marino went to Pitt. I don't even know for a fact that Dan Marino won the Heisman. In fact, I sort of leery that he did win a Heisman at all. It's the name that comes to mind. Pitt has also been a great running back school. I don't believe Aaron.
I'd say the only other one I know other than Marino would be Tony Dorsett.
Tony Dorsett definitely won a Heisman. And I don't know if I would have known that Tony Dorsett went to Pitt, but if you know that as a Pittsburgh, I would go with that because every time they hand out the Heisman, I mean, you would have remembered if Dan Marino was there, for crying out loud. I don't remember seeing Dan Marino there, so if I would go with that.
Dan Marino never won the Heisman Trophy. Tony Dorsett, the one and only Heisman Trophy winner from Pitt, 1976.
Thanks for switching to Pennsylvania there for me, boys.
Hey!
Cal, welcome to the Mountain Time Zone, my friend. You got yourself a basket of wings to the Desperado. Enjoy those very much. Give your information to Tom. Make sure he gets you set up with all that, all right?
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Cal. Good work. Cal was on it, man. He's doing good there.
Can you name one of the other 9 players from Weber State in the NBA ever to make it to the NBA from Weber State?
When you're saying that you're the only person that knows this, I mean, that's probably true. So we're probably going back a little ways. I mean, there's been a lot of really good players that have come through with Randy Ray being there. But if it hasn't happened since Randy Ray's been there, then I don't know if I can.
Well, Randy Ray's put two guys
years.
in the NBA besides Lillard.
Okay. But nobody since Lillard.
Yes.
Who?
Joel Ballenboy.
He's in the league.
He's not currently in the league, but he did make it to the NBA. He's on a 2-way contract currently with, I believe. Actually, I think he's on a 2-way contract with the Hawks.
Okay, I may have misinterpreted that. Although I don't know Joel Ballenboy was Big Sky Conference Player of the Year, I believe, his senior year.
Yes, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year as well as the Big Sky MVP.
Yeah. All right, who else you got? You want to name drop here, Colter?
I'll give you the whole list of guys from Weber State that have gone to the NBA. Lance Allred, who actually has a very interesting connection to.
Now, I want you to know something. Okay, my absolute radio instinct was to hit the out button right as soon as you said that you're going to name every single guy, but I feared that would damage our relationship. How angry would you have been if I would have just cut you off right there, gone full Dan Le Batard on you, when you start listing off the history of Weber State basketball?
Hit the button.
How mad, though?
I mean, I am.
Alpine Touch is legendary around the state of Montana for providing delicious seasonings for every grilling occasion. Now, Alpine Touch offers so much more, from a savory new barbecue sauce to spicy pepper blends to tasty barbecue rubs. In addition to the classic, Alpine Touch has a variety of seasoning salts for whatever you need to spice up. Now that the holidays are over, Alpine Touch makes a perfect thank you gift to show your friends and relatives you love them. Alpine Touch, available at retail locations around Montana or online at alpinetouch.com. Alpine Touch, Montana's special spice.
It's time for the spring tire sale at Les Schwab. Save up to $200 depending on tire size and type on a set of 4 tires, including the Open Country AT2 and MT, some of our previous best sellers. Of course, you'll get the warranty we've stood behind for 65 years at no extra charge. And now you can book an appointment online at leschwab.com. Les Schwab Tires. Doing the right thing matters. Limited warranty conditions apply. For details, visit leschwab.com.
On Russell, across from the fairgrounds.
No matter how far you may go, there's always one just down the road. Town Pump, ooh, pump it up, pump it up.
Looking for a quick snack and a drink? Then look no further than Town Pump, where you can get a 12-pack of Corona for $14.99 and buy one, get one free on 3.75-ounce Chex Mix bags. Town Pump Food Stores, proud to be part of our community.
Town Pump, right down the road, pump it up, oh yeah.
This is Mike Nugent with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Berkshire Hathaway provides Western Montana with full-time real estate professionals for you whenever you need us. Our reputation as the state's most knowledgeable and available real estate group has helped build unmatched trust in the Garden City and statewide. If you have been thinking of making a real estate move in the short or long term, give me a call. No pressure, no expectations. Just professional opinions and service at whatever pace you are comfortable with. Give me, Mike Nugent, a call today, 531-1802. And remember, every question is good to ask.
If you haven't tried Florence Coffee's Madagascar Vanilla, you've got to stop by and check it out. Our all-natural Madagascar Vanilla offers vanilla flavor in its purest form without any artificial flavors or preservatives. Stop by any of our 19 Florence Coffee locations and see for yourself just how delicious Madagascar Vanilla really is.
The best flavor under the big sky. Florence Coffee Company.
Tootell and Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio for Missoula.
The phone's ringing, everything's breaking. You don't have music this time. Just go ahead and do it.
Just patch through whoever's there. It's Tootell and Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Hi, how are you? Great to be with you. Thanks for being with us. I'm glad Coulter came back into the studio. Angered him. Broadcasting live from the Kurtz Polaris studios. Kurtz Polaris at 2904 West Broadway in Missoula, Highway 83 in Sealy. Online at kurtzpolaris.com. If you missed anything in the show, check it out on the podcast. The Tootell and Nuanez podcast is available on the TuneIn Radio app and on iTunes and on Spotify. It's also available on the station website. It is there thanks to the Wingate by Wyndham Hotel. Coulter, who are the other 8 guys?
It doesn't matter. You don't know any of them anyways.
No, I don't. Who's the other Randy Ray guy?
Jeremy Sanglin.
Oh, well, I do know Jeremy Sanglin. I mean, I am aware of Jeremy Sanglin, the basketball.
Lance Allred played, I guess, a couple years of his career with, I guess, the last 2 years of his career. Other guys that you would know, Harold Arsenault.
Oh, yeah.
Harold the Show.
Arsenault has single-handedly beat North Carolina in the NC2A tournament.
Yep. So
that was an amazing game, dude. That's back when they're wearing like the cutoff shirts. You know what I mean? Like not the tank tops, but like the let's show how big our biceps are, even though they're not that big, really. Trying to accentuate the look.
There used to be a lot more big guys in the league, in the NBA, though, than there is now. In terms of like stacked guys.
Totally.
Like there's nobody that.
It's a much leaner league.
Much leaner. There's no Karl Malone or Antonio Davis or Dale Davis or
who's the most
David Robinson.
One of those now.
The most
Andre
one of
Drummond?
those now. No, because he's not swole like those guys. He's so big and got so much mass, but he's not swole like that. Probably Blake Griffin.
None of those guys can jump like Blake Griffin, though.
No. You know who I thought about the other day? It was like, I don't know how it's even possible that he's underrated because he's certainly one of like the 25 best players of all time. Is David Robinson. Talk about swole.
No kidding. I mean,
he's like the most genetically gifted person that's ever lived.
You're not. It's not even possible to be over 7 feet tall and have arms like
the whole thing. I mean, they say he can do 500 pull-ups.
What?
I mean, wouldn't you believe it? Look at him.
No. That one I don't believe.
I know. It's hard to believe, but I mean, look at the guy, dude. Who is actually more physically gifted and in better physical condition. He's one of the great conditioned athletes in any sport ever.
Shaq?
Charles Barkley?
Bark. Hey, man. Well, yeah. Yeah. I want to talk about Damian Lillard to finish this thing off again, because we opened with it at the top. But I think the multiple layers to this, and I want to kind of project this out forward a little bit. As we talked about that shot at the beginning, if you weren't with us, the shot encapsulating what happened in this last 5 games, which was Damian Lillard surpassing Russell Westbrook clearly in terms of his place in the NBA hierarchy. Now, I'm not saying what his place is at. Coulter and I both agree he's certainly in the top 7 at this moment, and maybe into a first-team All-NBA top 5 type of spot.
I mean, he was first-team All-NBA last year.
In any case, you have to do it in the postseason, and Dame sort of did it a little bit once earlier, but this last several years bad in the postseason. Not bad play, but the Blazers have not been as good as the teams they've played. They've been overmatched. They were the hammer, and Oklahoma City was the nail, and that shot was the final blow that just sort of encapsulated so much, that whole moment there. But here's my question. I mean, Damian Lillard looked completely unflappable. And I think that, you talk about pressure and all that kind of stuff. I don't think whether he feels it or not, I don't know. He certainly welcomes it if he feels it in any way, and he expects, no question, that he's going to rise to whatever challenge is out there in front of him. And I thought that, to me, is one of the things that I took most out of this series, watching Damian Lillard game in and game out, is, he's always had great confidence in the way that he plays. It's not like he goes out there, plays nervous or anything like that, but he plays, there's a difference between not playing scared and playing with an expectation of what you and your team are going to do. I thought that was on full display, the expectation that they were going to just go out and dominate, which they did. They dominated this series with Oklahoma City. But now they go and face the winner of Denver and San Antonio. Denver, by the way, winning last night. They're up 3-2. And granted, it's a 2-7 series, but no matter who wins that series, after what we have seen, you got to say, the Trailblazers are the favorite to win and go into the Western Conference Finals, which is a place they have not been in a long, long time, and it's a place that Damian Lillard has never been. And so I wonder, as you progress, where you are in a spot where you are favored and expected to get to that place, though you've never been there before, that doesn't happen that often. Usually the first time teams get there, it is at best even money, and at times somewhat of an upset that they make it. And then you get expected to be over time when you've shown that you can do it. That's not the way this sets up to me for the Trailblazers, and I wonder if that has any impact on the way Damian Lillard or this team play.
Well, and if it's the Nuggets, that's going to be one, actually, from a pure matchup standpoint, one of the most fascinating series we'll see in the playoffs, because the Nuggets have absolutely nothing for Damian Lillard, but the Trailblazers have almost nothing for Nikola Jokic either.
Jokic, yeah.
So you're going to have the respective MVP of each team battling, going off, but not actually going against each other in hardly any situation at all. So that could be a pretty interesting matchup. Two other ripped guys, two other stacked guys in the league that I thought of. Dwight Howard.
Eating like 24 king-size Snickers a day. Can't feel his fingers because he's got so much sugar going through. And look at him. I mean, come on.
He's too buff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's kind of hurt himself.
And he's always been like stiff and like he's about to pop the basketball.
Yeah.
Because he's so big. And now I completely forgot the other one. I'm having a Gus Tootell moment. Oh, Giannis. Giannis is getting pretty piped out.
Yeah. I mean, he's a little slenderer.
I mean, he's got low body fat for sure, but like he's got some pipes.
He's not.
It was funny though, because I looked up a list of the 10 most stacked guys in the league, and those guys are all, I mean, obviously in tremendous physical condition, but they're nowhere close to what the league was in the 90s.
Well, and I mean,
Anthony Mason, remember him?
Of course.
I mean, how scary was that guy?
How scary is he to this day?
Charles Oakley?
No.
I mean,
that's what makes a guy like Reggie Miller so interesting to me, because he got nothing for any of those guys, but just went straight at every one of them and just took his lumps.
Have you seen Winning Time?
No.
The 30 for 30 about Reggie?
No.
So good, man.
I love Reggie.
It's what we always talk about is, like, there's a whole bunch of ways to score 25 points per game. Bradley Beal scored 25 points per game this year. For what? For 31 wins? Mm-hmm. Reggie Miller never averaged 20 points per game. Reggie Miller averaged 10 points per game in the fourth quarter, though, for his whole career. Reggie Miller's ready to go.
Boys and girls, have a spectacular Wednesday. Thanks for being with us on ESPN Radio, on SWX Montana Television, and now on our new YouTube channel. Go check that thing out. Enjoy the best Game 7 in all of sports. Hockey on right now. Springtime is the time to buy a new Polaris off-road vehicle. During the spring sales event, rebates go as high as $1,500 and financing is as low as 3.99%. Live your life wide open in a high-performance RZR. Tackle anything from mountains to mud holes in a legendary Sportsman ATV. Get more done.